What's up guys? For today's video we're going to be talking about Invicta watches. I've owned an Invicta watch for around 3 months now, so I feel like that's long enough for me to have developed a reliable enough opinion about these watches and the company. Before we get into the video, as always, let's do a quick wrist check. I am currently rocking my newly acquired G-Shock G3110. Now it's not new by any means. This has been discontinued for many years. But I have a very special place in my heart for this watch, and I was absolutely excited that I could find one. I will be doing a video on this one in the near future, so make sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date. Going back to the Invicta, we're just going to go ahead and go through our normal talking points. And for both of these watches, so the score will essentially be the same for both watches. Starting off with a 360-degree view and dimensions. As you can see, I do have two different models in front of you. This one is the 29180 and this one is the 8927. They are essentially the same exact watch. The only thing that changes is the band and the size, the case diameter. The 29180 is just slightly larger, but they are essentially the same exact watch. There's the front. And there's the much hated Invicta engraving. I don't know why so many people dislike this. I actually really like that. I think it looks really cool. I do also have a weird sense of fashion though. And there's the see-through case back where you can see the moving parts. I'm trying to show you there. There we go. Here is the 8927. Again, essentially the same watch, just different colors and band. For dimensions, we'll go off with the 29180 first. And here are the dimensions for the 8927. Now, as you can see, this is a very moderately, reasonably sized watch. So for the score on dimensions, I give it a 5 out of 5. There's really nothing I would change. It's not too big, not too small, just right. Next talking point is price. Price on Invicta watches is really where I get annoyed with the company. Because here's the tag that my 29180 came with. $995. So $1,000. Invicta is one of those companies where you will find that year long they're always on some kind of sale. And I mean, it's kind of insulting to me because it makes me think that they think that I'm an idiot, that I'm just going to mindlessly buy their watches because it's on some fantastic sale. When in reality, you know, if it's always on sale, then it's not really on sale. They're just trying to make you think that you're getting this great deal. So that kind of annoys me. Fortunately, in real life, if you go on online retail sites like Amazon or even the Invicta store, you're looking at different prices. So the 29180, you can buy it for about $95. And then the 8927 you can buy for, again, $98. So both of them reasonably around $100 for both of them, or each. And I think that if we're grading it off of what you're actually going to pay, then I give it a 5 out of 5. Because I think $100 for what you're getting, the automatic watch, the functions and features, I do think that that is a great value. So I give it 5 out of 5 as long as we are judging it based on real street prices and not what they advertise the price to be. Next talking point is functions and features. Starting off with the bezel, you have a 120 click unidirectional bezel, and this is a fantastic bezel. It operates just right. It falls, let's see if we can show you a close-up here. There's very minimal backplay and it falls very accurately on each of these second markers. Same thing with this one. They are identical in feel. Very deliberate clicks, and I really like that in a bezel. And then as you saw, there is a magnified or a date cyclops, so that is always a good thing. I don't know how perfectly aligned it is. I don't really care about that. I've heard some people complain that the alignment of the Cyclops is like ever so slightly off. I haven't noticed it. I haven't taken precise measurements. Just off of my naked eye, it looks good to me. So I do like that magnified Cyclops. And then as far as other functions, you've got the or features. You have the Seiko NH35 Alpha automatic movement, which so far has been fantastic. And you do have Lume. So a very basic feature set, but they all work very good. I have not had any issues with any of the functions or features of this watch. So for functions and features, I give it 5 out of 5. Next talking point is illumination. This is where the watch fails miserably. So here, we'll show you footage of this watch in a dark room. I'm only going to show you one because they both have the same lume. So here we go. And as you can see, it has lume, but I promise you it will last you all of 15 to 30 minutes, 30 minutes tops, and then it's gone. So don't ever wear this watch expecting to be able to tell the time in a dark room. So for illumination, I give it 1.5 out of 5. The only reason why it gets points is because it has lume, but that's really all I can give it. Next talking point is visibility. Visibility is great, very easy to tell the time. I mean, they copied the style of Rolex, and you know, Rolex is a fantastic watch. So the fact that it's, I wouldn't say maybe copy, a homage, whatever you want to call it, it's good. It worked for Rolex, and it's definitely working for Invicta. So 5 out of 5 for visibility. Next talking point is button and crown placement. Let's take this moment to show you how it looks on the wrist. So there we go with the 29180. And then I'll show you again with the 8927. So very comfortable, very easy on the wrist. So for button and crown placement, with the button or the crown being at the 3 o'clock position, and it's a pretty standard crown position, I really have no complaints. I will say that the crowns on Invicta watches, at least in my experience, are not the smoothest. I really haven't had too much issue with this one, but with the 8927, it has been a little gritty, if I'm saying the right word, when you're, because it's a screw down crown, so when you're trying to screw it back in, it doesn't feel enjoyable. It's not a smooth experience. So for that reason, button and crown placement, I take away 1 point on the crown, and we'll give it 4 out of 5. Next talking point is band quality and comfort. Now, the overall quality is fine. There's nothing really to complain about. For me personally, I am not a fan of this style band. I do like how it looks. I just don't like how it feels. It's very flimsy, and I know that that's no fault of the manufacturer. It's just the style, but it also is my personal preference. On this one, I do prefer this band much more. However, the finish or coating is not very durable. Rest assured that if you just bang this ever so slightly on any surface, expect many scratches. So comfort is fantastic, but overall quality, it's not the best. It's nothing to complain about, but it's just keep that in mind. So I take away 1 point on quality, so we give it a score of 4 out of 5. Next talking point is X factor. These are just things about the watch that you can't really measure physically. We're talking about charisma, how good it looks, reputation, all that stuff. So the thing that annoys me about this watch, I keep saying annoyed, it doesn't really annoy me, but the thing that doesn't give me any ammunition to defend this watch is that it's called the Pro Diver. Both of these are called Pro Divers. And that's fine, but they don't really give you much ammunition to defend that. It's not ISO certified, so it doesn't even have the classification of a dive watch. And I know that's not a requirement in order for a watch to be a dive watch, but I just feel like if you're going to make it look like almost an exact replica of a Rolex, and then you're going to give it the name of Pro Diver, then I felt like Invicta should have put it through the prerequisite test to give it the classification of a dive watch. That's really just a personal opinion of mine. Granted, all the scores here are personal opinions of mine, so don't take anything too seriously. So for that reason, I will knock 1 point off of X Factor, and then I will take away half a point on just because you might expect some flack for wearing an Invicta. And I know that brand or the name of a brand should not affect whether or not you purchase a watch, but you should just keep that in mind that there are people out there that will give you a hard time if you so choose to go the route of Invicta. I personally love the company. I love these watches, but it's just something you should keep in mind if you are new to the watch game. So I take away half a point from that, so we come to a total of 3.5 out of 5 for X Factor. Last talking point is my overall thoughts and should you buy this watch. So we'll start off with the overall score. Taking all the scores and averaging them out, we come to a score of 4.1 out of 5. And if you are familiar with my reviews, you know that that's a fantastic score, because there's no such thing as a perfect watch, so you'll never really get a 5 out of 5. So anything above 4 is really the next best thing to perfect. What can I say? I have not had anything bad to say about this watch in general. As a daily wear, reliability, accuracy. I intentionally did not set the time on this one. I didn't adjust it. I just wore it every single day. When I was working out, when I was playing soccer, I wore it every single day for every activity, and the time was pretty much dead nuts with my cell phone. So whether it was fast some days and slow some other days, it averaged out to be right on time. Same exact thing with this one. And I know that the Seiko movement NH35 is that's kind of everybody's selling point. Everyone kind of defends that movement. They're like, oh, it's an Invicta, but it's got a Seiko movement. You should just keep in mind that yes, it is a Seiko movement, but Seiko is a good company, but I do think it is largely overhyped. Their movements are good, but they're not fantastic. They're not perfect. I would say they're middle road. So it's still a respectable movement. So you've got the reliability. Really, the only thing negative about these watches is the name of the company. A lot of people just don't like Invicta because of their gaudy watches. They have a lot of designs that are just out there and in your face. And personally, I think that you shouldn't care what other people wear. As long as it's not affecting your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, then to hell with it. Let live and let live. So my opinion is that these are fantastic watches. Should you buy it? Absolutely. If you're one of those guys who are new into the watch game, you're not necessarily trying to break the bank. You're not trying to invest in high quality watches such as Panerai, Rolex, Bell & Ross, you name it. Then go ahead and get an Invicta Pro Diver. Because the great thing about these watches is you can really just play around. You can get different designs. And I think that's a very good, beautiful thing about Invicta. The fact that you can buy, 5 or 6 of them with different looks, different styles, and then really have a solid inventory of different watches to wear for different occasions. Now that being said, if you are into high quality watches, or if you are trying to get into high quality watches, and I say avoid Invicta, because you will just be wasting your money. These are not for people that want to be professional collectors or to have a high profile watch collection. I would say these are for the everyday Joe, maybe the younger crowd for people who aren't really making so much money, but they want something that looks good enough to pass as a dress watch. So what you're getting is a really good, reliable watch for the money. I understand completely why high profile or big name collectors will hate on Invicta, but that this watch just isn't for you then, if you are looking at watches on that level of quality. This is mid-range, somebody who's not too serious in the watch game. They just need something that looks nice and is reliable. So it's kind of like a mixed review. I really recommend it to a certain group of people, and for other groups of people I'd say stay away. But overall, for the most part, I absolutely love Invictas. These have been fantastic watches, and I absolutely love them. So that's all I got to say. I hope that this video helps you with your next watch purchase. I hope that you enjoyed it and helped you kill some time. And yeah, make sure to subscribe and tune in for my next review. All right, bye.